Every morning, when the sun had just risen behind the bamboo grove, the small alley behind the village echoed with the footsteps of a little boy, a tiny shadow, clothes patched with rips, bare feet muddy with dirt. That was John. John was 12 years old. He lived with his mother in an old thatched house at the corner of the village. His father had died in a work accident when John was only 5. Since then, his mother sold vegetables and worked as a helper so that John could have enough food, clothes, and schooling. John had a habit. Every evening, when his mother returned home from work, he would place a small chair in front of the house, gaze at the stars, and dream about the future. He wished to become an engineer and invent things to help poor people like himself. But such a dream was never easy. The school was more than 3 kilometers from John's house. He had to walk, sometimes through flooded fields or bumpy dirt roads. He had never owned a proper pair of shoes, only worn-out plastic sandals. Sometimes his classmates laughed. "Why are you wearing cheap market sandals?" John just smiled, saying nothing. He knew exactly where he was going. In science class, John was always the most focused. He loved experiments, batteries, and wires. After class, he often went around junkyards collecting broken parts, scraps, and wires. Once, he even brought home a broken fan someone had thrown away. "What did you drag home this time, John?" His mother laughed while sighing. "I'll fix the fan blades tomorrow, Mom. You'll see." That evening, the light in their house flickered and died. The switch was broken. John sighed. His mother had to light a kerosene lamp, smoke staining the walls and their clothes. John wished his home had steady light at night, light for his mother to cook, light for him to read. From that moment, he decided he would make a lamp himself. The first lamp was made from a tin can, rabbit batteries, and wires stripped from old cords. It took him 2 weeks to build. When he tried to turn it on, the battery exploded. The lamp didn't light. The second time, he tried making a solar lamp from plastic film and tin. When he presented it at school, the lamp lasted only 2 minutes before going out. "Why bother? Poor kids like you should just learn sewing," one classmate mocked. John felt ashamed. He walked home silently. But that night, he still sat in the yard, tinkering with broken parts. One Monday, his teacher, Mr. Parker, entered the classroom and announced, "At the end of this month, there will be an invention contest for students across the county. Whoever creates the most useful product will receive a scholarship." John looked at his unfinished lamp and thought, "This time, I have to make it last longer and stronger." He threw away his old mistakes and started again. Days in class, nights soldering circuits. He tested batteries, rewired, fixed, and rebuilt tirelessly. His friend Mary came to see him. "John, I admire you. You just won't give up." "I made a promise to myself," John smiled. On the day of the contest, John brought a small box to school. Before the audience, he presented his invention, a solar lamp made entirely from waste materials. The lamp can shine for 6 hours after charging in daylight. Every part is made from discarded items, John said with confidence. The judges were touched. A representative from a charity for underprivileged students came forward. "We will award John a full scholarship through high school and connect him with the County Innovation Center." At the end of the hall, John's mother wiped her tears. Soon, the whole village was talking about the boy who made light out of trash. John began his first days at the new county school, where there were modern labs, plenty of books, and dedicated teachers. But what amazed him most wasn't the equipment or the bright classrooms. It was the way people listened. Here, no one laughed when he asked questions. No one mocked him for tinkering with models made from straws and soda cans. They looked at him with curiosity, even admiration. In physics class, Mr. Brown, his homeroom teacher, asked, "Who here has ever built an electrical device?" John raised his hand. Some students turned to look. "I made a solar lamp out of trash," John said quietly but firmly. "Would you share your project at next week's workshop?" John nodded. For the first time in his life, his knowledge was valued. That night, John wrote to his mother, "Mom, I'm learning so much. How to measure voltage, how to draw circuits. But the best part is, people believe in me." A week later, John stood before 100 students holding his old lamp, the one that had changed his life. He told them about scavenging for wires, nights of failure, and silent tears. The hall was quiet. Afterward, a younger girl approached him shyly. "John, I want to make a lamp too. Our house is always dark." John looked into her hopeful eyes. "I'll teach you." From that day, John started a small group. 5 children meeting after school behind the dormitory. They worked with whatever they could find: old batteries, bottle caps, straws, wires from broken fans. The county newspaper wrote about the Trash to Light Club, founded by a 7th grader. A charity sent them simple science kits. A small energy company donated 20 used solar panels. Each finished lamp was given to poor families in the area, homes once lit only by kerosene lamps. One old woman said, moved to tears, "Since this boy's lamp, I no longer cook in the dark." John said nothing, only smiled. But inside, another flame was burning, the flame of a dream slowly becoming real. At 13, John was no longer just lighting his own home. He was lighting up a generation of children, barefoot in the mud, but now able to see beyond the darkness. John grew up and became a college student in electrical engineering. Though he had the chance to stay in the city for work, he chose to return home to build the Light Center, a place where poor children could learn about electricity, science, and creativity from simple objects. The center gradually attracted attention, with media coverage and donations from organizations. John's mother was deeply moved, witnessing her son bring light not only to their home, but to an entire community. John said, "Back then, I just wanted to make one lamp for my mom. Now, I want every poor child to have their own light." At the end of a special class at the Light Center, John stood before the children and said, "Don't wait until you have everything to start. Light doesn't need to be big. It just needs to be enough to see the next step. Believe in your dreams. Begin with the smallest things." Some may laugh at you, saying you can't do anything. But remember, people laugh only until the moment your first light shines. Then John switched on the old lamp, the first lamp he had built from trash. A warm, golden glow spread across the room. The children's eyes sparkled, not only from the light, but from hope. Because the one who lights the way for others is also the one who illuminates himself.